Today I'm going to show you how to add shadows and a background to your pop art project. So I'm going to go back to my project and you're going to make sure that yours is opened up. Now the first thing we want to do is to bring back the crawling ants. So I'm going to hold down Control, the Control key on my keyboard, and I'm going to click in the black and white picture. So for me it's layer 1, copy 2. So I'm going to click in that, and as you can see the crawling ants are back. They're around her, she is surrounded, she is selected. I'm going to make a shadow. So the next thing I'm going to do is I want a new layer. So I'm going to say Layer, New Layer. Okay. So now I've got a layer on top. If by any chance it wasn't on top, you could move it underneath or move it around. The style is normal, so I don't have to change it. The only layer that needed to be multiplied was my color layer. So I'm fine, I'm ready to go. Then I want to decide what color I want for my shadow. Okay. I am a fan of red and blue together, so I'm going to do a red shadow and a blue background. Or you know what? I'm going to do a blue background and a red shadow. Okay, so I selected the bluish purple. Okay, and now if I look here and I hide what's underneath, all that I have is the shape of her. Okay, I'm going to bring those back. Sometimes they're distracting. You can turn them on and off as you want. Okay, I'm going to click the paint bucket and I'm going to click right in the middle. And I'm going to make sure I'm on this layer, okay? So now I've got a shadow of her, so I'm going to drag it underneath. So you can't see it anymore because it's underneath. Let's say I wanted a second shadow. I would do the exact same thing. She's still selected, so I would say Layer, New Layer, okay. And then I would pick my color, and I would use my paint bucket to fill it in, okay? If you want more than one shadow, it's something that's definitely pretty easy to do. New layer, style normal. Click, I'm going to do one more that's lighter. Okay, so I've got 3 shadows. Okay. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to bring them all underneath. Now, as you can see over in the palette, I've got 3 shadows. And I can definitely change the colors if I want pretty easily just by going back into the layer. I would hide what's on top. Okay, I could go back to the layer and take my paint bucket, and if I wanted to make it even lighter, I could do that pretty easily. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to move the layers. So I don't need these crawling ants anymore or the selection. So I'm going to say Select, Deselect to get rid of that. I'm going to click on the shadow behind her, and I'm going to click the Move tool. I'm going to zoom out so that I can see my whole picture a little better. And I'm going to sort of take the corner to drag the first shadow out. And when I'm happy, I click the green arrow to say OK. You don't need more than one shadow. But if you want more than one shadow, you can have more than one shadow. And I would just click each one to make it a little bigger. Okay? Once you're happy and you're ready for the background color, okay, you can put it in this layer, the bottom shadow, or you could put it underneath, okay? Either one, it's fine. But you're going to choose your background color. I'm going to go for the red. Love red. And I'm going to take my paint bucket. Oh, yes, I want to make it visible. And I'm going to click it in. Okay. Now, as you notice, I've got some little mistakes. Those were probably areas that I didn't erase or things that were selected. So I'm going to want to just clean those up. But just a quick thing too, at any time if you decide you want a different color, you can always make sure you're clicked on that layer and you can go in and change it. I do like the red. Okay, so now I want to fix the red so that it doesn't have this little mess in here. Okay, over here. I wish I could say I left that purposefully, but I didn't. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to say Layer, New Layer. Okay, now I have a layer that's on top of everything else. Okay, so right now there's nothing on this layer. So if I take my red and I take my paintbrush and I paint it in, I'm going to make that larger. I'm going to make the opacity 100. I can paint and cover up anything that's there till I'm happy. Okay, I'm happy now. So at this point, I have just 2 more things I need to do. The first is just say File, Save, like normal. Excellent. The second is I want to save it as a JPEG. So just so it's got less memory, it's easier to upload. That's how it needs to be to submit it to Schoology. So I'm going to say File, Save As. Okay, it's still in the same location. I don't need to change the name. What I need to do is I need to change the format. So right now it's Photoshop. I'm going to drop it down to JPEG, the top one. It's going to say Amy Kukuzi Pop Art Copy JPEG. And you can see I've got some other things saved on my desktop that are JPEGs. And then I'm going to say Save. And then you'll need to say OK. So that when I go and I look at my very messy desktop, which I have many, many things, okay, I'll be able to see the Photoshop version will still look like the little camera, but the JPEG you'll be able to see it. And this is the one that you will upload and submit to Schoology. So hopefully this was fun. Hopefully you learned some Photoshop skills. If you want to make some extra ones for extra credit, you can. Once you've done one, they do go pretty quickly. And you could even like take your picture and save it with colors and then change the colors up and save it again so that you do a grid with it or just change it around. You can have versions of the same thing. Okay, so have a good day. If you've got questions, just check with your art teacher. Thank you.